Welcome back. Now, the numbers illustrating the dangers of cell phone use while driving are startling. Get this, 1.6 million crashes each year. That's 1 out of every 4 accidents. And it's 6 times more dangerous than driving drunk. But there is some good news to this. Local youths who help raise awareness of these dangers with a well-written essay could get part of a $5,000 in scholarships that are being awarded by a local law firm. Very good news to hear. And here with all the great details on that amazing opportunity is local attorney Bert Parnall. Bert, welcome.
Thank you, David.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
Definitely. And we want to start off by talking about how dangerous is this trend of distracted driving?
Oh, terribly dangerous. With the rise of smartphones, people get used to it, and deaths and injuries are increasing year by year.
You know, and we have a stat here that we want to talk about is about every 5 seconds, or about 5 seconds driving at 55 miles an hour and answering a text at that speed and at that rate. I mean, that just increases the odds of how dangerous and how severe these crashes can be, right?
Yeah, the studies show that it takes an average of about 5 seconds to answer a text. 5 seconds at 50 miles an hour, that's enough time to drive the length of a football field.
Wow, that is, I mean, and it's just crazy to think that you're taking your eyes off the road for just a mere second. And you know, when you're sitting down in a stagnant environment, you're going to be answering a text, and people just take it for granted that, okay, time is not being affected. But when you're driving at 55 miles an hour, that's something incredibly worse.
Right.
Now, let's talk about your work as a MAD spokesperson.
Sure. I have been a prosecutor for many years before I got into civil law and civil prosecution. So I've been supporting Mothers Against Drunk Driving for a long time. We've worked closely together. I know what the criminal system is like, so I've been able to support, acknowledge, and encourage their efforts. And so we work hand in hand to help fight drunk driving.
Yeah, and again, as that stat shows, I mean, the distracted driving by answering texts can be just as deadly, if not worse, than drunk driving.
Right. Actually, the studies show that as dangerous as drunk driving is, cell phone use, smartphone use is so prevalent that it can be 6 times as dangerous, leading to more collisions, even than drunk driving. And I did want to mention, I mean, driving is so crucial to our everyday lives. It's our economy. It's how we work, it's how we live. Well, these days, smartphone use is so prevalent and also very crucial to our lives. But they don't mix, just like drunk driving.
Exactly. And the scholarship program designed to get the youth involved in that. Let's talk about that real quick.
The scholarship program is meant to increase awareness. Distracted driving is the leading cause of death for teens. About 10 teens die per day in America. That's over 3,000 teens per year, 300,000 people hurt. 95% of teens addicted to their phones, they acknowledge that it's wrong to use a cell phone while driving, but over a third of teens do it. So the scholarship is meant to raise public awareness in general, and particularly for teens, and to, of course, support education for youth.
Yeah, and it's a good way to reward them to change the tide of everything about distracted driving, because, you know, that's the thing affecting the youth, too, is that, again, as Bert mentioned, you know, everybody's going to have their cell phones, more so the youth. So if we can start them out early and, again, reward them for getting involved and changing all that, so much the better.
That's right. And the essay question is basically 4 things. 1, define what distracted driving is, and that could be texting, answering a phone, eating, etc. 2, have you experienced distracted driving, either you or somebody around you, and what did you do about it? 3, come up with a plan for your family, for whenever somebody's driving. What is that plan? And you know, with youth these days, they have a million ideas, and many of them very, very good. So give us those plans. And number 4, have some statistics and data to support your points.
There you go. Wonderful thing you're doing, Bert. We want to thank you for joining us. And again, you can always find out more information on this by going over to krqe.com and clicking on Always On KRQE.com.